Hello. Just waiting for a couple girly pops to join. Hello, hello. Gonna be chatting about the beauty bag today. Okay, hello. I am going to be getting into all things P.Louise. I know I've seen a bunch of TikToks about it because I love watching videos on it, but I am about to dig in to this palette. I know it is so insanely beautiful. Also, it's so much bigger than people actually realize. This palette is huge and it's everything you could possibly want, like ever. Hello, hello. Also, I need you to stay tuned because I'm going to be giving away some insane P.Louise lip scrubs and lip masks. I mean, I just need you to look at how cute these are because I cannot get over it. It is so Oleg. Look at these. They look like little juice cottons, okay? So stick around because this is just too cute. I don't want you to miss out on this. But the main focus is we are going to be getting into the P.Louise eyeshadow palette, first of all, by Michaela. Second of all, the blush. And thirdly, maybe one of the ones I'm most excited about is this P.Louise like brush set. And it comes in the sweetest little bag. If you want to know what this bag is inspired by, it's inspired by the actual P.Louise bases. You cannot tell me these aren't the same. This is the cutest thing ever. And so I'm going to dig in with the brushes. The different quality brushes make is insane. Hi, hello. You can watch right here. So don't stress. We're going to get into that soon. But these brushes are insane. You can see I've already used them. I've used them in a couple TikToks as well. And they are just absolutely beautiful. Ooh, hi from East London. Hello. That is so cute. Okay, I'm going to start by priming my eyes and then we're going to unpack the brushes a little bit, but of course, very on brand and very much just like the rest of my videos, I'm going to prime my eyes with the P.Louise base. Oh, this is just, it ensures that your makeup lasts, it keeps everything on, and you'd be surprised at how much more pigmented your eyeshadow is like this. Even if you don't have a P.Louise base specifically, a concealer, anything like that just helps so much. I've put a little bit on the back of my hand and I'm going to go in over my eyes just to make sure that my eyes are nice and primed for the eyeshadow. So nothing crazy. The base is similar to my skin color, so it really doesn't make much of a difference now, but it does make a big difference to the performance. Ooh, hi from Northwest. Hello, hello, hello. I'm priming my eyes and we're going to be talking about P.Louise and the different products. I use shade Rumor 2, but I've also used 1, which is just a little paler, and 00 is white, but it goes all the way to like deep darker skin tones that I've used on clients as well. So I'm just starting by priming my eyes so we can get into the eyeshadow palette, which is obviously the best part. So eyes are primed. We have this beautiful eyeshadow palette lying ahead, but first let's unpack the brushes, and I want to chat about brushes, and I want to actually ask some questions, right? And I'm just gonna say, keep these guys in mind, okay? Okay, so stick with me. Oh my word, girl, you should definitely use the P.Louise bases. They are so good. Trust, I think 05 you can get away with, because once you've put on the different eyeshadows, you can't tell if your base is a little too light or a little too dark. Go for it, because you won't regret it. But let's unpack some of the brushes that come in this brush set, because it is easily the cutest thing I've ever owned. It literally screws off as well, like a real P.Louise base, which is insane. But you can see we have a lot of big brushes. These aren't the kind of brushes we're going to use today. Something like this with a flat top is more of a foundation brush. The packaging is adorable. That's why I'm such a P.Louise fan. We've got brushes like this. This is more foundation, powders, and blushes. But this is not really the direction we're going in right now. So we can look at things like this brush. And what I think is important to remember is how universal a lot of these brushes are. This, because it has this spoolie on the other end, you would assume has to be for eyebrows. But I've been using this little brush for liner all the time. So you really can be very versatile with the brushes. Nothing is, you know, set in stone. But what I want to ask is, there's a very specific format of brushes that all more or less take on the same shape, maybe in different sizes, but they all carry the same purpose. So I want to know what you think this style of brush is meant for or used for. What is the goal in a brush like this? What are you achieving? Because I'm going to be using a lot of this today, and it's going to be making the entire eyeshadow happen, really. Yes, okay, Hannah, indeed, it is for blending. These are blending brushes. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that. These are blending brushes through and through, and it's going to make all the difference. So I am going to take you through the eyeshadow now, okay? Which I'm so excited for. I think I'm going to show you like a 3-step flawless eyeshadow. You know what I mean? Like, can't go wrong. So I am going to be more in the nude side of the palette. You can see this is just, oh, look at that. That makes me so excited. This is like my baby recently. And I'm going to say, you're going to use 3 shades. You're going to use literally like a medium, a light, and then like a highlighted color. I know the shimmers are so pretty. This is like my favorite part of the palette, is the shimmers. But we aren't going to leave the shimmers behind, okay? We are going to show the shimmers plenty of love. But let's start with more of a packing brush. And so a packing brush is any brush that's a little bit denser, so a little less fluffy. Does the eyeshadow palette have a black? You know what? I actually checked this recently, and it doesn't have a black, which in the art world isn't a bad thing at all. There's very deep purple, there's very deep blues, and there's very deep browns. So you can still achieve the same like depth, but there isn't black in this eyeshadow palette, which I actually think is quite cool because everyone always has a black. But back to the eyeshadow, you're gonna start with a very simple packing brush, which is just a normal brush that's a little bit denser. I'm going to go in with a deeper shade, so I'm going to go in with this shade over here. This is shade Soon to Be. The whole palette is like wedding themed, so everything is super like romantic and sweet. And I don't know if you've noticed, this palette actually has a huge mirror, which is phenomenal. I'm going to be using it now. And with this darker shade, you're going to take it and you're going to put it right here on the outer edge of your eyeshadow, right? Because what you want is to create depth. You want to give your eyes more dimension, just a little more oomph to it, okay? So taking this on a packer brush, I'm going right here in the outer like V of my eye. How is the fallout? The fallout isn't bad, but I've never been someone who's fazed by fallout. I feel that there are phenomenal eyeshadows that have a lot of fallout, and I don't think that's the token mark for a bad eyeshadow. All eyeshadows are just pressed with a different intensity, and normally, and I know that I've made this very known and I'm doing it the other way around, normally I do my eyes before I do the rest of my face. Literally, the more fallout, the more pigment. It happens all the time. It's not a bad sign at all. But I typically do my eyes and my eyeshadow before I do the rest of my face makeup. That way, if there is fallout and it does fall on your cheeks, you just brush it off or wipe it off and you continue on with your makeup. You know what I mean? It just works a lot easier. So typically I would do this process the other way around. But as I was saying, we're gonna tap, or more like stamp, this deeper shade just here on the outer edges. So you see, we haven't done anything crazy, just a little bit, right? Then, as discussed, okay, we are taking a little fluffy blending brush, and now we're going to go in with a lighter shade. I'm keeping this so simple, no rocket science, just an easy eyeshadow, right? Truly nothing crazy. I think I'm going to go in, I have to make decisions now. I'm going to go in with the shade Tall King over here. You can see it's almost like a mauve brown kind of shade. And oh my word, hold on. Oh, the only bad thing about this palette is the pictures are so cute and you feel bad about dipping into them. Look at that. That says growth with a little chart. How am I supposed to dip into that and not feel bad? But I'm going to. It's just difficult. So now I've got this on a fluffier blending brush, and the shape I've stamped out, I'm going to blend. And the pigment is literally insane. I've barely tapped my eye so far. But blending is something that everyone's talking about, everyone wants to know how. I think people find it a lot more challenging than you think it is. However, we're going to make light little circles like this around whatever you've created. You cannot go wrong. You're just gonna make your little circles, okay? And if it's not blended, keep making little circles. So I'm going to take this eyeshadow, and you can see I'm going on the edge of what I've just stamped. Also, what I find important is don't be scared to go back and forth, you know what I mean? Sorry, I actually want to switch this out for a bigger brush, but don't be scared to go back and forth. There's nothing wrong with, you know, doing your darker shade, blending with your lighter shade, going back in with the darker shade. Like, there's nothing stopping you from going back to forth. Once you've finished a step, you can continue, which is the reason I can't use my palette. I get it. Oh, and butterflies. It's so cute. Like, I wish I could just put it on the shelf and look at it, but I can't resist that either. But like I said, don't be scared to go back and forth, because this is a process, you know what I mean? There is nothing wrong with correcting. If you make a mistake, you have time, you can fix it. It's not the end of the world. Are there other large palettes like that with other shades available? There are plenty of eyeshadow palettes available. P.Louise does plenty, the beauty bag sells plenty. You have so many options, not necessarily from this collab of Michaela with P.Louise, but you have loads of options with the same P.Louise quality. But like I said, I'm just going back and forth, and I'm making my tiny little circles, and I'll show you my like ultimate blending tip in a second, because honestly, I have like a be all end all. If everything goes wrong, this tip will fix it, but we'll get there, we'll get there. So I'm just taking this little mauve shade, and I'm blending out this color I have over here, making it a little bit softer, and making sure that it all goes well. Also, I know it's easier said than done because we don't always have time, but don't be scared to take your time. And you can also be a lot gentler on your skin than you think. You don't have to etch the makeup into your face, if I can put it that way. You can be quite gentle and still get the job done. I'm even going to go a little bit under my eye over here, just to make it a little bit more cohesive. And you can see it's just these tiny little circular motions, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now you can already see the difference between this little blob, because that's what it is, this is a little blob, and this that's been like blended out and starting to actually take shape. It makes a huge difference, and ultimately all I've done is make little circles. I've made little circles and I've blended out my eyeshadow, right? So it's really a lot less intimidating than you think it is. So I'm going to repeat the exact same process over on this side with my P.Louise blending brush, just going back and forth and back and forth. So you go over the edges of the color you've stamped out, but you also go over the center if you feel it's a little more stubborn. Depending on the colors you use, it might be easier, it might be more of a challenge. There really is no be all end all. Show my bangs on the way. Making sure you can see what's going on. And slowly, you can see it's starting to take shape. It's starting to blend out, be a little softer. Oh, and I'm so excited to show you guys this purple blush as well. I'm still planning on making a full video on this purple blush because it's my new obsession, and it feels so strange to have my face makeup on and not be wearing blush. But we will get there. I just have to be patient because I know we will. But same process, dipping into my blending shades and going over the eye. Little bit by little bit by little bit. Just building it out and being very gentle. I personally, and I don't know if I've ever even spoken about this on the internet, I like to take my eyeshadow quite into my nose as well. I don't really contour my nose, this is as much as I'll do. I'll literally take, if I'm working with brown shadow, and go down the edges of my nose. It makes a world's difference, and it's so easy. Okay, oh, you guys are making me so excited to talk about the blush, but I will get there, I promise. P.Louise pigment, insane. P.Louise is just one of those brands for me that I know I will never be disappointed with them. Like, I trust them with my life. P.Louise can lay out anything and I know it's going to be good. I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's just such a blessing. And the pigment is so insane. Like, even just these like light, you know, very sweet little colors are giving exactly what you think they would. They're blending out exactly the way you imagine they would. It is just too good. Just going back and forth, comparing the eyes. This is the quote-unquote difficult part. What is my favorite blush? That's tough because I've tried out many on my page. I think I also mentioned some of my favorites in a video I did recently, my 2023 makeup wrapped. But I go through phases. With all of my makeup, I go through phases. I currently am using the P.Louise Purple blush, but I've also loved blushes from smaller South African brands like Chloe. I've also loved Benefits blushes over the years. But I am not loyal to a blush, not at all. Does the brush come with a cut crease concealer brush? I will take a look for you now. I actually have a P.Louise brush that I use for concealer, but you know what the honest truth is? You can take a brush in a shape similar to this and kind of press it flat, because this brush was once fluffy. Would you believe that now? No, but I've pressed this flat and I use that for more of a crease type of brush now. So it just depends how you navigate the brushes, but I'm also going to add a shimmer over my crease, so we will get to that. Most certainly. I need to focus on blushing. Blending, not blushing. That's what I keep getting distracted by. Just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on the shadow itself, and you can see we've created such a simple little look. I almost call this this very like matric ball glam in my eyes, which is really just eye makeup that is timeless and not too harsh, and it's not going to overpower your face. And there is a big beauty in being able to do kind of not effortless glam, but more simple glam. I think a lot of people focus on rushing to perfect the like crazy, more complicated things without looking at the basics, which to get the basics down, like skin, like a simple eyeshadow, like your blush, makes all the difference, like all the difference. Yes, I could absolutely show that one day. You can even send me a DM on Instagram and I can give you a little tutorial, Hannah. So I'm just adding a little bit of that light shade under my eyes as well, and you can see my eyes have taken so much shape already. It's so gentle, it's so simple, but this is taboo. This is controversial maybe, but I really don't mind going in with a big brush like this. And I do something even more different than that. Is obviously I've got bronzer on the side of my face, right? Like I bronze the sides of my face. So you can imagine it makes a lot of sense to blend your bronzer into your eyeshadow. That way you can't fail, it's the same color. So I take a fluffy blending brush, but I take a big one, right? This is a big old brush. And I dip it into my bronzer, same bronzer that I have on my cheeks. If you see me tapping, it's to get off excess product. And now that I have that, you can see there's like a gap here right now. But once you have that, you can literally take it, and this can be messy because it's so easy, and you can just get it in there. Look at the difference that's made. And I have made one movement. This is like makeup 101, the easiest step ever. I actually think I saw a celebrity makeup artist do it. I just don't remember who. But this, if I'm in a pinch, I will literally only do this. And it makes things so quick and so easy because you just use one big old brush. Look at that. It's made quite the difference, but it's been quite simple. Oh my god, I'm so glad you guys do it too. Yes, I'm actually really thinking about making a video like dedicated to bronzer and contour and the impact it can have, because it changes my makeup completely. I love bronzer to my core, especially as a pasty person. But I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna do the other side. You can see the difference it's made just here in that side, which is so much more blended out, and this side, which is still blended, but more right in the middle of my face. So taking my bronzer, just going on the edges and pulling it out. Literally so simple, but makes the biggest difference. And since you got the bronzer on the brush, you don't really have to worry about doing it neatly either. You can literally just use it to pull everything out. Oh, like my actual obsession. This makes everything so much easier. And if you struggle with eyeshadow, just do bronzer. It's so simple, just pop your bronzer on over your lid. People aren't even gonna be able to tell, but it looks so cohesive and it looks so neat and tidy. Okay, so I just wanna add a little bit more depth on this eye because I am intense about symmetry, but realistically you could move on from this point. However, I'm not ready. So I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit more over here. As for bronzers, I think it really depends on your skin tone. I know Benefit has a good shade range. I love Essence and Catrice bronzers, but you really can't go wrong. You just need to find something that flatters you. I struggle to find a bronzer because I am very, very pale, as we can see. And so that's normally my biggest quest when it comes to a bronzer. But yes, I do know somebody named Yana. I know a lot of people named Yana actually, but with that spelling as well. Okay, now that I've done my basis for the eyeshadow, there is an important thing missing here, and that is a little shimmer, because that is what I cannot resist. So I'm going to go in with a shimmer from the eyeshadow palette, and these are beautiful. I already said that I wasn't going to abandon the shimmers, and that I most certainly am not. I think I'm going to go in with Till Death Do Us Part, which is this beautiful, you can see I've really dug in there, which is this beautiful shimmery shade. It is just insane, and it has a little gold reflex in it. Have I tried Switch Beauty? I'm actually making a Switch Beauty video in the new week, okay? So stick around, stick around. What foundation would you recommend? Something full coverage? From the beauty bag, there is a foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. In love. It is the most beautiful thing ever. But I think for foundation, it really depends. I've made a lot of videos. It depends on your wants, it depends on your needs, it depends on your skin type, all those things. Are the shimmers good for highlighter? That is what I'm about to unpack. This palette's shimmers are, I don't want to say strongest points because I don't think this palette has weak points, quite frankly, but maybe my favorite part. So and this is controversial, I take the shimmer on a fluffier brush, and I'm going to go in the center here, and I'm just going to make a little swoop, and I use it to highlight my brow bone and even my nose. I don't typically highlight my cheeks just because I'm scared of texture, but my nose, the bridge of my nose, the inside here, and the brow bone, I'm all going to do with the eyeshadow palette. And as I said, I'm using shade Till Death Do Us Part, okay? So going in, tapping off the excess, then right in the middle of my eye, right in the center, which is, for me, the most important part because it just opens up your eyes so much. And then I make a little swoop. Oh my word, the shimmer is insane. You're about to see the difference it makes. I'll do one side with the shimmer and then I'll leave one side. But already, just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh. Just going in, and you can, if you want a more controlled look, you can use more of a packing brush or more of a crease brush. But when I do a very soft eyeshadow like this, I like to just have it more loose. Oh, any of the shimmers good for highlighter? Oh, I already answered that. Yes, absolutely. And so you can see I'm just packing it on here, and look at that difference to this eye, which is so much more flat. There's so much less dimension. This makes me look like a little dolly. This is so cute. I love these shimmers, to the nth degree. Then just the same shimmer I have over the lid and in the center of my eye, I'm going to take and I'm going to put on my brow bone here. You can see there's a bit of an empty gap between the eyeshadow and the brow, and that is where I'm going to do the tiniest little bit of the shadow, and it just creates such a cohesive, pretty look. The shimmer is insane. Then, like I said, no exception, I do a little bit on my nose, and I do a little bit right on the tip of my nose, just because I love the look of this. So I want you to see, look at the difference between this half of my face, super snatched, super glowy, there's so much more dimension, versus this. This is so much flatter. There's nothing wrong with it. There just isn't much going on. So for me, the shimmer is an absolute must. So I'm going to do the same thing here in the center of my eye, which is my favorite part. Even if I don't do the whole eye or the whole face, I do this. This palette is so good, girl. I completely understand why you feel tempted. Then the little swoop. And when I do it like this, I don't mind if they're not completely equal, because you want it to be more of a soft, like effortless, glowy kind of look. Ooh, there goes the brush. But then continuing on, adding the shimmer here, making sure it is nice and cohesive. Then just like on the other side, a little bit of shimmer under the brow bone. And the shimmer is so beautiful. You can see it has like gold reflex in it. Oh, shut up, that is so cute. And I cannot get over this. Is the beauty bag based in Cape Town? Yes, but they ship all over South Africa, if I'm correct. And I've gotten from them many times before. It's a good way to get international brands in South Africa and in Cape Town. So there we go. I've added my shimmers, and that's literally your eyeshadow done. And it's made it so much simpler. It's so much less complex than you actually expect it to be. So you really don't have to stress. I've literally used 3 steps, 3 shades. And when in doubt, just use a bigger brush, which I know is controversial and it's not the typical advice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not the typical advice. Sorry, I'm just using an oil blotting sheet. It helps remove a little bit of excess oil because it is a hot day, okay? But now you can see the eyeshadow is done, sorted, and relatively simple. But I'm going to move on to the most delicious little part, which are these blushes. These are so insane. So I actually saw someone explaining the, not science, but like the color theory behind purple blush. And, oh, hi Mia! And it actually makes so much more sense. So if you think about the color wheel, purple and yellow are on opposite ends. So if you've got yellowy tones, the purple and the yellow cancel each other out. So it leaves you with a very vibrant pink look. So if you look at my face right now, you wouldn't describe me as yellow, but you can most certainly see the yellow tones, the warm tones. This, according to color theory, and you'll see in practice as well, just makes it have like a very vibrant pink. It is the sweetest thing ever, and I am going to get into this because this has been my go-to recently, like through and through. So this is shade, because there's 2 shades over here. The one you can see is a little more cool toned, versus this one is just as cool tone. It's slightly warmer, but also a little bit lighter. And for someone that's quite pale, a little bit lighter. So this is shade Pretty Pansy. And the component itself is so cute. You can see, one, that I've been using this a lot and been traveling with it a lot, but it's got a little spongy on the end, so you can go directly on your face, or you can even go in with a little brush. So I'm going to go in with a little brush today. I'm going to pick up some of the product, some of this purple blush. So pretty. Look at that. It's so cute. Pick up some of the purple blush, and then I almost tapped it off like it was a powder. And then you can see here, I've got this little gap where I just need a little bit of love. Hi Mia, another Mia. And then I'm going to go in, and you will see the difference this makes. Oh, that is so pretty already. So you see purple blush and you're thinking like, oh, crazy, this must be some kind of statement. I'm not making a statement. It's just cute. Look at that. It's so much less purple. This is actually on powdered skin. I'm replying to a comment, which says a lot. That's also why I'm not going in directly with the product, just to make sure I don't get it too wet. But typically I would do this on wet skin. But today I'm opening the wrong blush. But today I'm doing it on powdered skin, which I have done before. Works just as well. Which for that, to pull that off, insane. I'm gonna go in a little bit more because I don't have self-control with blush. Okay, I can't help it. And it is just the cutest thing. Look at that. Still shade Pretty Pansy. I've used the other shade as well, and it's just as beautiful. But look at that. You don't look, first of all, the difference is insane. Right, it is so cute, and the packaging is so cute. Like, this is my current obsession. But like I said, you think purple blush and you think statement, going out, festival, like crazy, but it really isn't. This is so simple, so pretty. I actually find it a lot softer than like a pink blush or more orangey blush. World's difference. And because it's a cream, it just looks so much more natural as well. Love this stuff. I'll even sometimes put it on the center of my lips. Right? Yes, exactly that. I really used so little. I didn't have to blotch on loads. I used the tiniest, but literally this is how much gets on my brush. Like not coated at all. Just the tiniest little speckles. Blushed. It is so cute and it's buildable. So it really depends on what you like. I'm someone who likes to wear a lot of blush. Oh, look at that. I'm someone that likes to wear a lot of blush. I really am not afraid to pack it on. And so I can build it up, but you can also go the other way. If you just want a natural little glow, you can do that. Look at that, that is too sweet. Doing a little more on this side as well. Just building it up. Some days if I want to also just go over my eyes, make everything cohesive. Sweetest thing ever. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum, you don't want too much blush. Take your sponge. You can see I've actually been blending out the blush with my sponge. And you can go and tap it out. You know what I mean? It's like what I said earlier, nothing in makeup is this permanent, like, you can never go back kind of thing. You can always tweak it, you can always play with it. And this purple blush is just the love of my life right now. You can go back and forth. Normally I'll do this on a wet base and then set everything afterwards, but just as cute. Also, I saw someone say this is like packaging that doubles as decor, and it does. This P.Louise eyeshadow palette is literally on display in my makeup room because it is too pretty and it lights up. That is the most insane part, is that the palette lights up. But there you can see I've added a little purple blush and it doesn't look crazy. It just looks very sweet, very natural, right? Like, this is so erotic. I love, love, love this stuff. Then, obviously, it wouldn't be appropriate if I ended this live without mascara, because then it's just an unfinished makeup look. But you know what? I'm actually gonna throw in a little step, a little side gig. I want to show you the second blush as well. This is, oh no, this is Pretty Pansy. This is the one I just used. Oopsies. I'm going to show you Very Violet because I did this in a recent TikTok and I got so many comments saying I love the lip, I love the lip. Let me show you. I went in with this blush on a little blending brush and I put it in the center of my lips just to tie it in. And it looks crazy now, but you gotta stick with me. You have to stick with me, okay? I put a little bit on the center of my lips and then I went and I put the gloss on over it just to like tie everything in and make it cohesive. And I loved how it looked. It really made everything marry together. You can see going over it. It doesn't make like a crazy impact. It doesn't look insane. This is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, for those asking. And it also shows you it's versatile. You can use this on your eyes. You can use this on your lips. There is no rules. You know what I mean? You can do as you please. So just continuing on. And look at that. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it ties everything together nicely, which is lovely. Just doing the same on my top lip. Look at that. How sweet is that? I love, oh, I love, 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 love that. Then I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to do some mascara. I use an eyelash curler. You are not permitted to look at my eyelash curler because I am aware it is as old as it looks. But this isn't really like a sanitary issue because it is clean. She's just well loved, if I can put it to you that way. So I'm gonna curl my lashes. And I curl one, mascara one, curl one, mascara one. I don't do the whole gig at once because then by the time I get to the second eye, the lashes have gone down. Going in with a little bit of mascara because what is eyeshadow without mascara? I'm really not sure. And once again, using the palette because the mirror is so big, it comes in handy like you will not believe. Putting on a little bit of mascara. First of all, the difference that makes is insane. Then before, look at that, huge difference. Then before I do a second coat, I'll go and I'll curl the other lash, mascara the other lash, and then I finish it off with a little final coat. I completely understand you all saying you feel naked without mascara. It is jarring because you can see from this alone, my eyelashes are blonde. They are not helping me. They are doing nothing. They're just here for a good time. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye. Same curl. And I'll also be so honest, normally I curl my eyelashes like a mad person, but for your sake, I'm curling my eyelashes like a little lady. Because normally I get in there, but for life's sake, we'll pretend I do it very elegantly and very sweetly. Okay. Then mascara the other eye. Gotta keep the same system up. And this just makes the eyeshadow like you will not believe. I don't actually need to sell you on mascara. You all know the difference it makes. You can also see the difference it makes. So I'm not going to be wearing any false lashes because my eyeshadow is relatively simple. It's nothing crazy. I can afford to get away with just a simple 2 coats of mascara. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Obviously you can tell I've put a lot of effort into this. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to speak while you put on mascara, but this is not a simple task, regardless. Keeping at it. And that makes all the difference. Look at that. Huge difference. What was I even doing? And, oh, sorry, I can't. I'm looking at myself. This purple blush. Are you insane? This purple blush is everything to me. This is like by far the biggest phase I'm in. Hello! Absolutely just in love with these. Thank you so much for joining as we played with some of the P.Louise stuff because it is my current obsession. I'm not done making videos about it because I still love it. Through and through. Thank you for chit-chatting with me and thank you for playing because I most certainly loved it. Okay, bye.